Hello, welcome to Pirate Readings. I'm Lady J, and if this sign is your sun, moon, or rising, this is your reading. And I really want to thank you all for your likes, shares, and subscribes. You all matter so much to me. Thank you. And if this particular reading resonates with you, I would love for you to consider subscribing to the channel. All right, Capricorn, so let's talk about October 12th through the 18th. I have the 3 cards in front of me from the overview video, and I have your guiding card right here. We are talking about the 8 of Swords. 8 of Swords is all about stepping up into your power and trying to convince other folks to come your way by using a little bit of them on top of your original argument, your idea, your original plan. You're going to take your original plan and share 95% your idea and 5% them. You know, take their aesthetic into play. You know, if they're all about conservation, you want to make sure that whatever you're working on is earth conscious, and you add that into your pitch and make sure that they understand you got that. We're on that, okay? And keep that in mind with your pitch. If they're money conscious, you want to go ahead and add 5% about how everything is being kept on the financial down low so that everything is good to go financially. So you can see how you can work it every which way. If you just pay attention to what their usual vibe is, you can add that vibe into it and they will buy your project almost instantly. It's really cool because they get that you see them and that's what they want to be seen as. You know, they want any pitch to take them into consideration so it has their flavor. Nice. All right. So a couple of messages from my better angels. One of them is talking about how we need to be taking the higher road with our friends and neighbors. It's important to realize that when people do things that make us a little nuts and a little crazy, that we need to just sort of find the other side of it. Find ways and means to come at it with compassion, and that could be one of the ways I do that is by making up a little story in my head. It doesn't have to be, this is something you'll never, ever, ever tell anybody, okay? This is just your personal story to help you deal with it. And when we're talking about like the neighbor who doesn't pick up the poop, you're going to make up a story that will help you understand why they can't stop and pick it up, right? Instead of having a confrontation, because they're big and scary and you don't want to talk to that guy. So you'll want to just come up with a story. I would go with something in the neighborhood of, oh, he hurt his back. And because he hurt his back, he can't bend over and touch his toes anymore when he's standing. So ultimately, whoever this person is, we're going to make up the story about how they cannot like bend over and touch their toes. And you want to go ahead and do that. It will help you understand that, oh, I'm going to do them a solid and pick up the dog poop. It'll be fine. And now you're no longer angry about it, and it's okay. All right? So that's cool. The other message is talking about how we need to go from start to finish on projects. We want to encapsulate them into smaller packages so that we don't have a lot of mess either during the week if we're doing our projects on weekends, or during the weekend if we're doing our projects during the week. You know, figure out which area, but you need a little zen time in between, okay? And that means no tools all over the floor, all right? So take good care, keep everything cleaned up and tidy so that nothing goes wrong or gets crazy, okay? Very cool. All right, so let's look at the cards. So here we have the 3 cards in front of us from the overview video. Let's get a mystery card. All right. What do we need for Capricorn for this week? I actually got it from right here. Cool. All right. So we'll go ahead and set these aside. Very nice. And we'll go right there. Perfect. All right. Now then, we're going to add in more cards from the Tarot of the Abyss, just so we can go deeper on this particular week and see where we get to. Now remember, last week we completed the week. We had a lot of things came into justice, even after everything was a little wonky for a minute there. But things came into justice, and I really like that. So that was cool. Fairness was found. Love that. Now, with all that being said, the 12th through the 18th, you have a brand new idea. You're a big, inspired human being. You have lots of creativity running through you, and you're like, okay, now that I got that other project off the block, I have a new variation that I want to introduce, and I am so inspired to think about it. I really do think this is attached to your prior idea. You're having an opportunity, the one you were fighting for, now you're having a new inspiration on how to go further with it and make it do more. So you're expanding. This is an inspiration to make it expand, not a new project over here that's separate from the original. I think this is an expansion of the first idea. Okay, there's a Queen of Wands, a like-minded lady friend in the mix. Down-to-earth feminine energy person. We've had like-minded folks before that stabbed you in the back or wanted to. Pay attention to who she is and what she's doing. She might just be somebody to talk to a little bit about this or a little bit about that. They will be on your side, and they'll find your idea curious and interesting. You won't want to spell it out 150%. They may want to claim it. I don't know why I'm saying that, but there's a vibe there that, we already heard that, learned that from the other guy. We want to make sure that we're not going to get our toes stepped on in that situation, okay? The Five of Pentacles, remembering this week that part of what you're working towards is getting some good financial advice, so you want to talk to the accountant at the company that you work at to make sure that your ideas are feasible financially, okay? And that you can either look at the right catalogs that your company works with. You don't want to be looking in one catalog when they don't even have a partnership with those people. So stay on point with who you're talking to and what you're doing so that you're at least shopping at the right store, right? They have an account with some people, but they don't have an account with everybody. So you look at everybody and they're like, no, we don't have an account with them. And you're like, oh man, none of the prices I came up with have anything to do with what we can do. I got to go back over here. Oh, everything's a little bit more different. So talk to your accountant people as you're doing your get financial advice so that you can move forward, all right? You want to present your new idea, but you want to do it in the right way. Gathering information is part of the deal, all right? Where are you blocked? Sharing your feelings. It's not about sharing your feelings this week. Not at work, not anywhere. Your feelings are going to get in your way, right? They're going to block everything from happening around you in the correct way. So the more you stay on point without getting emotionally involved, the better, all right? That is good. I mean, you can have feelings, write them down, do what you need to, but it's not about telling everybody else about them. Knight of Pentacles is here. Fighting for your worth and value is going to block you, so you're not about trying to get more money or anything like that. You're really just trying to learn what it's all about, how it's going, and what kind of finance, how you can make the dollar go further. So you're doing good stuff here. I'm not mad at it at all, even though it's just not about you making more money right this week, right? You're not worried about that. You're worried about spending your money wisely, spending the company's money wisely, and that's smart, and I love that. The Eight of Wands is showing up here in the block department, saying that everything you're working on is going to move at a nice slow pace. Nothing will speed up, nothing will go fast. You can take your time with it, develop it, and come up with a real plan for it while you have other people doing other stuff. You have time to work on the idea, okay? You don't have to do anything fancy right now, okay? This card here is your solution. Oh, interesting. Got a double whammy on the Knight of Pentacles. Knight of Pentacles is a blockage, but it's also your solution. So interesting. You're not looking to get a raise, but I think that what you will be fighting for more money about, the worth and the value of your project. It's like, okay, so now you're going to show them a comparison shopping situation of what you've been working towards. You're like, we could use a little bit bigger budget. I've been talking to the accountants, and this is a way to do this, that, and the other thing. And you will be fighting for it. You'll be like, and I can give up on this over here. You're going to find ways and means to move the money around, but you still need a blessing from the guy up high. And that is what you're working towards, is getting the blessing. So you'll have to fight for it. You'll have to let him know that you've done all your due diligence, and this is what we can do here, and I can do this here, and I can do that there, and da-da-da-da-da. And you're like, And so you're going to find ways and means to take care of it and present it in a very nice way. You're fighting for the worth and value of the project. The Ace of Wands. Ooh, a double whammy. What? You got this as a double whammy, and now you got the Ace of Wands as a double whammy. Yes. So yeah, your big idea is definitely formulating and coming into play. You're creating what you need, and it's coming to play. It's coming. You are just starting it here, but you spent most of the week doing all this stuff so that by the end of the week, you're absolutely in a position to start talking about it and presenting it a little bit more. What? What? Okay. This has never happened before. Okay. You have a double whammy on Knight of Pentacles, a double whammy on the Ace of Wands, and a double whammy on the Six of Cups. What? This doesn't happen. Okay, this doesn't happen. This is crazy. So, Six of Cups. We were talking about sharing your feelings wasn't a great idea. And here you are in a position where Six of Cups is a good idea. It's part of your solution. So you're making, as you're plotting and planning to begin with, it's not an emotional decision, okay? You're not making emotional decisions. You're thinking it through, and you're coming through with it, and you're being methodical, and you're coming up with a plan to save the money and take care of the things that are needing to be taken care of. Now, as your solution, you're absolutely able to fight for what you want and push things around as you need to. You're sharing your idea in a way that works, right? And you're going to stay non-emotional as you share your idea. But even once it's all heard and understood, something very cool is going to happen, and you're going to have an opportunity to be extremely happy and extremely satisfied and comfortable and happy, and you will be sharing those experiences and those feelings with the outside world because you've worked it through and come up with a plan. Okay, this is so cool. My goodness, what a wonderful way to go. I mean, right, like I said, you'll have some time. Nothing is going to go super fast, but wow. Wow. Okay. I'm whelmed. Every one of these cards showed up down here. That's crazy. And two of them are in the solution pile, which is super nice. And one came out of the trouble pile and came into the... so good. So good. All right. So anything that was an issue, two of them were an issue, and they became solutions. And that's so freaking cool. All right. Okay, let's go ahead and get you a Moon Oracle card, all right? I'm not sure. I don't know, man. That is the first time I've had that happen. And that's been kind of a minute since I've been doing this, so I'm excited for you. Taking lemons and making lemonade. My goodness, did all that. All right, light. Oh yeah, hey, this makes perfect sense to me. You are light. You are bringing the light into the situation. You're taking a situation that's adequate and making it better, and you're providing and you're figuring out the financial side of it, which I super think is cool. Yeah, they run into a few blocks, but at the same time, you're going to push through onto the other side to something beautiful, and you can shine a big dumb light on it. The financial end of it, you're like, oh yeah, we found a way to save more money on this project, and smoosh it around over to this part and make it like this. And you're just really fighting for your idea. It's beautiful. Love that. Inspiration is huge. And yeah, you are amazing. Thank you, Capricorn. That was a lovely reading. I'm enjoying the heck out of that. Feeling all the good vibes. What's your mystery card? Watch it be one of these cards. King of Wands. Yeah, King of Wands is not the Queen of Wands, but it could have been. Anyway, King of Wands is definitely here, showing me that there is a gentleman of like mind in the mix. Maybe it's the one we were backstabbed by last week. I don't know, but be cautious and careful around this person. I'm just going to say it because, hey, we got a lot of weird vibes from that guy last week. Could have been two separate people. which would have meant like a lot of folks. You had the King of Swords, King of Wands, and the King of Wands in the blocking department. So you had a lot of things going on last week. But this week, of course, this is the King of Wands, and he is potentially here in support. So maybe you've won over the King of Swords and made him into a King of Wands for you, where he gets you, he understands you, and appreciates everything you're bringing to the table, which means he'd be a fine supporter of all these wonderful things you're doing over here. Couldn't be happier to see you hanging out and having a good experience with a King of Wands. When it works, it works. When it doesn't, it doesn't. Okay? So, let's go ahead and get you a pocket full of rocks. Okay? So, what do we have here? We have pyrite, we have carnelian, and we have aventurine. All right. So carnelian is a second chakra stone, all about creativity, artistry. For those of you who are artists, this is going to be like inspiration central, which with 2 Ace of Wands, I am not surprised at all to see inspiration central happening here. It's all about our second chakra, where creativity and sexual organs all live, so there could be some physical activity going on there. Take that as it resonates. But it's absolutely about being able to be creative and bring forth what's needed and do all the right goody things in that situation, which is super cool. This is aventurine, and aventurine is a heart stone. It is a 4th chakra stone. It's all about healing yourself and healing the vibes. I feel like this is about all the hurt feelings you had last week. You're able to heal them by not sharing them at all. Remember, we don't share our feelings. This isn't an emotional situation when you're dealing with the money and all your idea. You're taking it very methodically. You're keeping emotion out of the situation. You do the fighting and such, and you share ideas, very methodically, black and white, no squishy stuff. And at the end, you can allow yourself to feel the feelings, okay? And share what you're feeling at the end, okay? But not until then, okay? But you've healed up a lot of good things in the process. As you're doing all your stuff, you're doing really good stuff. Pyrite. This is an all chakra kind of stone. It's a sort of an auric field stone. When you carry it, it goes out into the bubble of energy that lives around our bodies, and it hangs out there for the simple purpose of keeping all negativity away from you. So anyone who means you harm or means to smack talk you isn't going to be allowed through, okay? I really like this. This is good timing, considering last week was kind of wackadoodle. We want to make sure that if this person here means you ill, they aren't coming around, okay? They will not be around. But I feel like since they are around, they probably don't mean you ill, which is wonderful news. Good job, Capricorn. That is amazing. What a nice turnout. All right, so those rocks right there. Hello there. My goodness. Indeed. Capricorn. What a week you're having. My goodness. Like I said, I have never seen that happen with 3 cards coming up twice. My goodness. So, this is very good, and I want you to understand that things are coming out just the way they're supposed to, and it's going to be really sweet for you, all right? A lot of good benefits are happening here. Well played. So, yeah, these stones here, you don't have to carry them if you don't want, but you can if you like. Comment below if you want to, and let me know what you think about that, or what you are carrying instead, and let me know what you think about the reading as well, all right? There's a description box below. There's lots of good stuff in there. All the decks that I'm using, you can go ahead and get them on Amazon or Etsy, and they'll be listed there. If you want to find me at a Renaissance fair, there's my schedule listed as well. So you can come on out to the fair and get an in-person reading. That'd be super fun. I'd love to see you there. But if you don't want to come out to the fair, or you can't come out to the fair because I'm not where you are at that time when you need me, you can book a private reading over the phone, and I'll happily do what I can for you. I appreciate the one and the all of you so very much. I will talk to you next week when we will talk about the 19th through the 25th. And of course, if you haven't liked, shared, and subscribed, now's a good time to do so. I appreciate you all so much. Thank you for being here, and we will talk next week. Thanks.